The Brilliant Healer's new life in the shadows was missing that special something for me, but it also wasn't bad or boring enough not to finish.
The show kept you asking what will or could happen next.
Episode 1 drops you in with no explanation, with the harem already established, and with a surprising lack of screen time for the main character Xenos. It turns out this is because they decided to set episode 1 as a preview for further into the story, and then episode 2 resets you back to where everything started for him. This is a storytelling convention that I do not enjoy, and I feel like this show exemplifies it being done poorly.
It wasn't even a preview of a cool moment or anything. It was just the girls stealing their dinner. That felt like a totally skippable first episode. That would have made the reveals in the next episodes much better if we hadn't seen them already.
The story and the characters as individuals are missing depth, but the relationships between the characters is the strong point of the show over the storytelling. Xenos is another OP character that doesn't realize he's OP, this time because he trained outside the conventions of normal healer education. He's able to do feats of healing that nobody else can, but has never had the opportunity to benchmark himself. And while the other people in this world only have one type of magic, he can also use defense and support magic to an OP level. But his subtlety with all of those talents is what ended up causing drama with his previous party.
I understand how Xenos was from the slums and didn't have many opportunities to benchmark against other healers, but how had no one else in his party ever encountered normal healers to realize the difference?
It's possible they picked him up when they very first started adventuring, and so they never had another healer in the party, but it is still a stretch. Carmilla was my favorite character, with how they have her pop in just to cause some mischief, and her character design in general was really cool. Her background of being like 300 years old and the strongest wraith in the world allowed her a certain level of intrigue that the other characters just didn't have. It also felt like she and Xenos had the most natural banter between each other. There's a bit more of a directed narrative in the second half once he goes to the Royal Hospital, and seeing him in an actual healer's environment instead of just his underground clinic was refreshing.
The second half also felt like it got sped up because it wasn't being dragged down by having the three leaders fighting each other and having to make their individual statements every time something happened.
While the story did technically conclude the Royal Hospital arc by the end of the season, it felt like it left our hooded antagonist shrouded in mystery. I have a theory that this is the other kid that was learning from Xenos' mentor. I just have a feeling that having a background in healing magic would make it easier for you to do the kinds of body modifications that we saw the guide be capable of. But as an anime-only consumer of the story, I'd have to wait for a second season, which I'm not really sure that they'd get, and I haven't seen any announcements about. So overall, this was a 6.5 out of 10.